Hey everybody, this is John and welcome to the free video. So another violent day, and again just kind of emphasizing the weekly uptrend here versus kind of the daily downtrend. And although it's a violent day, we're staying well within the bounds of those movements. And if you look at a 30-minute chart here on the Nasdaq or on the Qs here, you can kind of see a better, that actually doesn't even do it justice. Let's look at the Nasdaq futures here. And you can see that we had, of course, this big move yesterday, and then today we essentially just started off down. We were down most of the day, and then we're just kind of getting some short covering here. The market is closed, but we're getting a little bit of short covering here. And this is a market where you just want to be very nimble, very flexible. I always think that the worst thing you can do in most of these situations is panic and short the lows. And you can see right here, it's kind of like, wow, new lows. Let's suck everybody in, stop everybody out who's long, and then just rip it higher. And that's kind of even in the context that this thing continues going lower, look for that to happen. The down moves are always trickier because the retracements are so nasty. But at this point, I'm looking for some serious downside to be tested here. So that is on the Qs. A couple things we did do today is that we did pick up we did sell a put call spread on Google, and the reason for that was very simple. It's like, well, a question came up in the room. It's like, John, why on earth, if you think that the markets are going to go lower, why would you want to sell a put credit spread? Well, remember, Google's been leading the way lower, right? So, I mean, this thing has already been falling lower, but look at the put call ratio. Everybody's now loaded up and ready to go. And typically at that point, it's at the bottom is in, so to speak, at least on Google. Doesn't necessarily mean for the rest of the market. Okay. What about kind of the major assets? Well, TLT, this thing just continues to explode higher. It's obviously stretched at this point. And then the yen, FXY, what I was watching today was that when this thing was really, really strong today, in fact, let's do a 30-minute chart on this. The yen was really, really strong today, and that's why the stock market gapped down so severely. And then as it started to pull back here, and especially toward the end of the day, the market rallied. And I would look at this at this point, you really got to think of this market as really a yen-based market, meaning that what I'm really looking at here now is this trendline support. And I think we come down here and hold and continue going higher, and in that case, stocks go lower. Okay. And the other thing to keep in mind here too is that you got the energy sector here is very, very oversold. We did come down. We made new lows. Tested this level. We got a bounce. Certainly not what I would call a bottoming type bounce. But if we look at USO, which represents obviously the oil market, you can see that we actually did get a little bit of a spurt here. Now, as long as we're below that 8 EMA, I'm not looking for much. But if we can get through this, we actually could get a quick move up to about 20 bucks, which would essentially mean like we might actually get a dead cat bounce on crude oil. Is this something that I would like to play? This would be kind of a riskier trade. Wouldn't want to hold it. Wouldn't want to have too much exposure to it overnight. But we are starting to see that we got this nice kind of a high volume, kind of a reversal here. This is kind of the most volume I've seen on an up day. Usually the volumes come in on the down days. And so that does open up the door. And then we did have a spike in natural gas as well. So I'm not looking for quote unquote the bottom, but I am looking at this point that even like selling some put spreads or even nibbling on some calls here for a little bit of a bounce is finally starting to make at least some sense. All right. Hope it helps. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you at the next update.